would you anticipate the next move being from the Fed in that case?
So this takes 50 basis points completely off the table. It takes the 8, 9 hikes that a lot of people were talking about for this year off the table, and thankfully so, because you heard me say on your show that I didn't think the U.S. economy could accommodate and live with such slamming of the brakes of monetary policy. It means the Fed is going to have to be even more careful, and it's going to have to tolerate higher inflation. Nobody wanted to be here, but we were already far away from the world of first best in terms of monetary policy, and now we're going to get even further away. So we're going to have a very sort of unsatisfactory situation when it comes to inflation and when it comes to growth, unfortunately.
What does that mean? Expect more inflation, right? We saw that about 7%.
And a price hike in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, what's happening now, right? We get 7% of our oil, I believe, from Russia, right? We do a bunch of business with Russia, and now with the sanctions coming in, trying to trap Russia in and putting control over their currency and their country, we're gonna have less trade. We're gonna have more supply chains backed up, right? We're gonna have less oil, so more gas prices going up, more inflation. Supply chains problems increase inflation problems further down the line, and this is only going to get worse, and the Fed is not going to be able to do anything, and they're going to come out again and say, we're still assessing this with new information, and we will let you know when the time is right.
Think that the pump that we've been having is because of inflation narrative, or do you think the pump has been related to, hey, you know what, Bitcoin's solving some problems right now? What are your thoughts?
I think it's both. I think people are seeing the use case, right? Like I said, Canada, the whole situation in Canada, that's still going on. Let's not forget about that, right? That's not resolved and gone. That's still happening. Now we have this Ukraine situation happening. We're seeing more and more use case for Bitcoin and how these other centralized points of power are trying to control people with what they can and cannot do with their money. And people are starting to wake up, right? At the same time, a great point was brought up I think it was in a tweet or another article that I read earlier today, that basically imagine right now being in Ukraine, having to, run for the hills or trying to escape the country because of what's happening. And you have to be chugging along a bag of gold or your whatever precious assets are, right? It's bye-bye real estate. They're gone. So forget your real estate, right? Forget all your other assets.
And 18 to 60-year-old men are not allowed to freaking leave. Right?
Men are not allowed to leave. 18 to 60 exactly are not allowed to leave. And you have to leave with whatever assets or cash you have. You don't even know if Ukraine is going to be a country anymore in the next couple of months, right?
I'm leaving with the seed phrase, my dude.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. That's exactly what I'm going to, right? You have your little USB, little hardware drive, and all you don't even need that. All you need to know is your 12-word or 20-word seed phrase, and bing, bang, boom, you can be transporting hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars worth of assets with no problem, no seizure at the border if you're leaving the country. No one can steal it from you, right? Nobody can mug you in the chaos and take it from you. You're not going to drop it. You're not going to lose it. How easy does that use case come to fruition now? People are like, oh, but I don't really need that. I can just, if I can transport my gold, I can shuffle around some LLCs and move my real estate from here to there and, make some business. In moments of emergency, none of that plays out. And Bitcoin is showing you that in the moment of emergency, it is there to do what it was created to do.
And I want to throw something out there. For those of you, and most of you, I'm guessing in the chat, if you guys are here with us, you know kind of where we stand on things. But the reality is, for those of you that would say, because we always get someone that says it, what happens if they shut down the power grid? Well, let me tell you, first of all, my seed phrase is still safe, which has my crypto safe once it comes back online. Secondly, if they shut down the power grid, we have a lot bigger things to worry about. If the power grid actually went down, the entire internet goes down. If the entire internet goes down, you're not getting into your bank either, because they do not have a written out on paper ledger. So if electric and the internet goes out, the facts are just that the whole world, or wherever that chaos is happening, is going to be absolutely you know, scrambling. And so the least of your worries will be that. The worries will be, how do I keep my family safe? How do I feed my family? How do I protect my family? Hopefully we don't have to find out. But the reality is, in the interim right now, Bitcoin does solve a lot of these problems. And I'm really interested to see what that, you know, how this plays out. Are we going to continue to pump? Or is this kind of a little bit of a fake out? I don't know. I hope that it's an actual full on pump, but I do believe what these economists are saying, and they are saying, listen, with the war happening now, the U.S. cannot afford to actually raise interest rates. And I think, wow, you know, could it have happened at a more, I hate to say it like this, but strategic time for something else to say, oh, well, but this, right? Oh, well, but that. And so when it all does collapse, we've got 10 different ways to point. Well, this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. It wasn't any bad decision making. It was life happening in a really set of chaotic terms. So I don't know. I ultimately just hope and pray for the people over there. I hope that we step up to the plate and do what we need to do, and not take a back seat and play passive, you know, passive Joe. Right? We need to like see some